Raise your hand if you felt personally victimized by the Bachelorette finale this season. Anybody? Yeah. Warning, obviously, spoilers ahead, so you can tune out now if you don't want to know what happened. Rachel picked Mr. Cheek Implants Plastic Face Brian instead of Dreamboat Silver Fox Peter. I mean, we all knew Eric was never gonna win, but I was hoping that she might be better than that. I don't know. Last night I went to watch The Bachelorette with all of my friends and our dogs and our wine, and everyone kind of agreed we knew that Brian was gonna win because, like Rachel said, she didn't want to go home with a boyfriend at the end of this. She only wanted someone who was going to marry her. Well, the only person crazy enough to marry you at the end of, what, 6 weeks of dating is someone who is a totally fake reality show guy. Peter was being real with you. You could have just given him some more time. But it's fine. He'll probably be the next Bachelor, either him or Dean. Dean seems to be a fan favorite. Anyway, I'm sorry that I didn't record recaps of The Bachelorette this season. I was busy with work, but you know, after I went to see the Men Tell All taping and ended up being in every single shot behind Chris Harrison, everyone was messaging me about the show and that got me all excited again, and I thought, okay, fine. So here we are. Took my notes on my phone because, you know, I'm serious about this. Also, this finale was 3 hours long. That's longer than Titanic. So I had to take notes to be able to keep track. All right, so they did this finale very differently than I've ever seen because they actually have Rachel out there on stage the entire time reacting as the show is playing, and it was awkward as hell. She was not happy to be there, but she did look amazing, and I can confirm her body looks amazing in person, and so does her butt. I mean, I don't know what kinds of squats she's doing, but I want to get on that workout routine. Also, they showed us a glimpse of the men backstage, like a split screen with all 3 of them, and I could see that Eric grew a beard and he looked very upset. So you could tell right away he wasn't gonna win. First up is Peter, and this was a to be continued that they left us on last week, where they were having a really tough convo, and she was saying, you know, I don't want a boyfriend at the end of this, and he's like, I don't want to get married. And he thinks that getting engaged is the same as getting married, and she doesn't, but she still wants it. And we got back into that, and it didn't seem like anything was resolved, but for some reason she still decided to give him a fantasy suite. I mean, I can't blame her. I wouldn't kick him out of bed. Also, maybe she has the same philosophy as Corinne. Maybe she thinks she has a platinum vagine and she can just turn him and make him want to marry her by having sex with her. I don't know. They get back to the room, and I have to say, the rooms in Rio have not been impressive at all. They look like they're on some sort of IKEA daybed. Either way, the morning after on this one was hysterical. They're just like cheesing, looking at each other on these side-by-side windows. I gotta say, I love his tattoos, and he's cooking while he's shirtless. I mean, this looks like a dream morning. He's just so pretty. Right after sleeping with Peter, she has to go on a date with Brian, and Rachel does not look like she's having a good time through any of this date at all. It's like they're riding horses, they're on this beautiful vineyard, and she just has this stink face on the whole time. They don't seem to resolve anything during the day, but maybe it's just because she couldn't stop thinking about Peter. Maybe Peter was really great in bed, and so she's starting to feel conflicted. I don't know. But at dinner, suddenly everything is solved, and then the next morning, they're still in bed. They've got the just been fucked hair. Everything looks like it went really well. So then we have this rose ceremony. And what is Rachel wearing? It's this like long orange high neck thing with these black jeweled sleeves. I didn't like it. It was a little bit too Game of Thrones for me. Eric was sent home, and he said that he was a boy before, but now he's a man, and thank you for turning me into a man because I was never in love before. Okay. Whatever. I mean, he does seem like he's a really good guy. He was very composed when she sent him home, but this is just boring. We're all wondering, like, is she gonna be Peter or is she gonna pick Brian? Get to the chase. Instead, we gotta go do the 2 different last chance dates. So for Brian's date, they do a very cliche bachelorette activity, and they go on a hot air balloon, which is appropriate because Brian is full of hot air. And Brian is just laying it on so thick on this date. He is so thirsty. I want to be with you forever. I'd be so devastated if you didn't choose me. And to be honest, she really doesn't look that interested. And I don't know if it was the editing or whatever, but she just did not look excited by all of his romantic overtures. Brian gives her a special gift of a Spanish dictionary, and in the dictionary, it looks like some PA in the art department must have made this, because like all the words that she had to know were husband and wife and forever. Gross. Like, we get it. You want to marry her. You're gonna propose to her. Just like, I don't know, try talking about something else for once. So then, for Peter, just in case her vagina did not convince him to marry her, she decided to take him to a monastery and have a monk give him a talking to. It was really strange. It was like they were getting couples counseling and she was planning on marrying him, which obviously isn't gonna happen. After the monastery, obviously Peter is really freaked out. He doesn't know if she's the one, and it's 24 hours before he's supposed to propose, and he won't say no, but he won't say yes. And really, I feel like he should have just left the show and let Eric stay. Eric seemed like he was really into it. Peter says that he wants someone who can share football nights and wine and painting nights with. Wine and painting? Peter, are you just like a basic girl? Rachel says that she's looking for someone to share the future with, and vacations, and dogs. And she doesn't even mention kids. Rachel, I love it. I love that you're really concerned about your future dog's well-being. Anyway, their breakup scene was really weird to watch because there wasn't a definitive moment where either of them said, this is over, you know? It was just this slow realization as we're watching it that we're watching them break up. But it was really confusing. And I have to say, Peter, that was a pretty sick burn when you said, go find someone to have a mediocre life with. That was a little bit too real. Although when she saw Peter again on the show, she said that she's living her best life, so. Vaya con Dios, Rachel. They talk about the breakup after, and Rachel says that she cried her eyelashes off, and Peter says that he had to walk by those eyelashes on the floor for 2 days. Why didn't you just pick them up and throw them in the trash? So then there was still like 30 or 40 minutes left of the show, and we already knew who won, and it was awful. I feel robbed because, you know, my favorite thing in the finale, whether it's The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, is at the end when you don't know who's gonna step out of the limo first, you know? And so like that person's shoe comes out of the limo and you're yelling at your friends trying to figure out whose shoe it is, and then you scream when you see their face because you know who the winner and the loser is. But like, we didn't get that moment this season, you know? Usually there's 2 guys who have to sit there and pick out rings. This time there was only 1 guy, and he didn't know that he was the only guy. But yeah, like, we didn't get that moment. And then we just watched Brian propose to Rachel, and it was really boring and really awful. And I don't know, I mean, I think this is the first time that I've watched a proposal on TV and I didn't feel anything. Normally, if I see someone proposing to someone on TV or on YouTube or whatever, I always cry. Like 10 times out of 10, I will cry. This time, I couldn't care less. Those are my feelings on The Bachelorette. Tell me your feelings. Do you think that Brian is the right guy for Rachel? How long do you think they'll last? I give it 6 months. Thanks for watching. Please comment below, tell me your thoughts, subscribe, and I'll be back soon.